Diddy, I'm feeling this is all assumption, alleged, um,
Speculation.
speculation, however you want to word it. But I feel like Diddy's on that side of about as worse as they possibly can come. Right? You got your Suge Knight figure, and your Suge
Oh,
Knight figure is the you know what I'm saying, that vibrato, that dominant. You know what to expect with Suge. But I feel like Diddy's coming from a different cloth of that mastermind behind the scene.
puppet
Yeah,
master.
puppet
You know
master.
what? It's funny you mentioned that though, man. I had that same talk with somebody that brought up Suge when referring to Diddy to me. That was earlier this week, and I was like, "Well, technically, Diddy's worse because at least Suge let you know what you were dealing with and who he was up front. Puffy kept it a secret who he was. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like,
and
and once
shiny
again,
suit. I feel like it's intentional. But go ahead, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say once again, everything we don't know exactly who Puffy is at this point in time. So this is all, I don't. Okay, we'll say this: you're innocent until proven guilty, and he's not been proven guilty of no crimes.
True,
But
absolutely.
at the same time, where there's smoke, there's fire. Cigar talk, no pun intended. Where there's smoke, there's fire, and there's a lot of smoke coming from Puffy's side.
A
Where
whole lot of
he's
smoke.
he's probably he's probably done something. You know what I'm saying? Now, how bad he's gone, we don't know. But for now, we can only speculate with what's out there, which is what we're
And
going to get
I'm
into. And
I'm speculating. You said you don't know how bad or how worse is. What's the worst of it? I feel
yeah,
like it's about as worse as you can humanly get. Me personally, this is just me personally, and
okay,
I've been binging lately, and maybe I've just been drinking the Kool Aid or drinking the
yeah,
Ciroc, pun intended,
yeah,
and I'm just of the mindset of this whole puppet master mind a manipulation type of deal that's going on, and it's probably been going on behind the scenes for so many years. You're talking about up to 30 years now, right?
yeah,
To where like even with big situation, right? For one, you get rid of Craig Mack. You want to do it my way? All right, I'm out. And Craig Mack spoke of somebody trying to bring bodily harm to him and have to protect himself. Didn't say
mhm,
who, didn't say what, didn't say it was actually Diddy, but it could have been mastermind by Diddy.
yeah.
Mace has spoke on seeing some odd things and people trying to do bodily harm and probably possibly setting him up in a way. Masterminding. Look at Big. And I think Big was a situation where, hey, look, it's either me or him. And that might
That's
be
what
my
his
number one
bodyguard said.
artist. And you know what? Somebody got to pay for Pac dying, and especially if it's on my hands. I'm not saying it was on his hands, but if it got to be somebody, if it's got to be me or him, my empire and me, or if I got to get another artist just to replace this guy, it's got to be Big. I got to give you up. I'm sorry, man. I'm playing chess pieces. Puppet
Yeah,
Master. All right, so long, Big. I'm gonna honor
and it
you. I'm gonna
said
sing
Big
songs
didn't
about
trust
you.
him either.
Said Big didn't trust him. You keep going forward. You look at everybody's heard the Jaguar Wright thing about how all the people from Uptown dead, almost died.
Yeah, yeah,
And then you think about his connections. Andre Harrell ended up dying. Might have had something to do with it. Things going bad after so many
yeah.
years of relating with each other in a certain way. All right, guess what? It's either me or you. Somebody got to go. Guess what? It's gonna be you before it's me.
What
And
you
then
mean
coming from
relating
that
to
Clive
each other
Davis.
in a certain way? Come on with
You
it.
want me
I
to?
know
You want
what
me to
you
say
mean,
it?
but you tiptoed around it.
All right, so okay, so Clive Davis, Andre Harrell, and we know Clive
Yeah,
Davis came out as bisexual about 10 years ago.
yeah,
That might have been a thing, and then he skipped over Harrell, goes to Puffy. Puffy and Harrell might have had a situation, sexual situation allegedly,
yeah.
and then also one with Clive Davis. So now we got possibly some bad blood, but also like some kind of growing together. But then at the same time, you were kind of chosen over me. You gonna ride with me, Andre Harrell, but somebody got the higher notch, probably by doing something, you know what I'm saying, doing more favors. and
Right.
was favored more so than the other. Pretty
Yeah.
boy Puffy, you know,
Yeah. Got the swag,
servicing
young,
concern.
he on top.
Yeah,
No Diddy at the top part.
no Diddy yet, no Diddy.
Yeah.
And then relationship probably going bad to where, you know what, we're going to talk about some of these things. And I'm out you. All right, well, you got to go. Kim Porter, you got to go. And it seems like elimination along the way. I'll be sure, almost died. You got to go. It's like, hey, look, if it's and you can see probably or the possibility of that growth of egregiousness, like growing throughout the years, throughout the decades, and things becoming more and more apt to be like, hey, look, I gotta eliminate whoever I gotta eliminate, and you've seen it become more and more frequent as decades pass. And that's just, to me, it just looks like a Diddy thing of where you're growing more egregious and less and desensitized to some of the crimes that you're willing to commit. All
Yeah.
legend, all speculation. And I'm just dissecting more and more, just looking at how these relationships, the whole Clive Davis, Whitney Houston thing, Clive Davis, Left Eye thing. You just see so much of Clive Davis behavior, alleged behavior, and Diddy kind of mimicking some of these behaviors and becoming bigger and worse than what I don't even know if worse if there's a worse, but it's
Yeah.
just you see some kind of you see some matching
Following his mentors.
yeah, following your mentors and some of the things that you were forced to do and had to do in order to be to get to a certain place in your career, and you're following in that mold.
Yeah.
That's just what it's starting to look like to me when I separate everything. And I've never been a big Diddy fan. I love some of the music that was put out. And some of the artists that he had. From 112 to Big to Shine and all the great things that he's done musically, right? But I
Yeah.
was never really a Diddy guy. Never really cared much for Diddy. Love the music that was put out from the camp, bar none. It's been some good stuff throughout the years. You know,
Yeah.
but just having to step back and look at, it's not looking like what it should look like.
And that's interesting to hear you go down this path because last time we discussed Puff on the show, we went down a path where you was kind of defending, got you. You were kind of defending Diddy a little bit, and I felt like I was being the Puffy hater, so I had to pull it back a little bit. You know what I'm saying, and kind of try to walk the line. You know what I mean? But so now you after more information is continuing to come out, you kind of like, hey man, all right, maybe dude ain't what I thought he was. Maybe he was messing some people over.
Yeah, and not just messing them over, but eliminating.
He
And that's the
eliminating
part that's
people
getting
too.
me. Like it's the elimination of individuals. Right? I get bad practice. You know what I'm saying? Maybe some bad sexual misconduct or whatever. But I'm where it gets me is the elimination of people. And we've always seen it. We've always kind of talked the conversation. But when I looked at the lineage of things and the
Yeah,
elimination of people from other sides, it's
yeah.
looking like it's the same type of deal. And it's like, nah, this is deeper than what I thought originally. This goes deeper. This goes deeper.
Well, you have everybody that's connected to him saying the same thing about him. So at a point, it does become, all right, is it conspiracy when everybody connected to you all saying that you messed us over, you tried to get rid of us, you did this and that, like everybody saying they had some type of distrust or disdain, and you're the only one to survive everything. Like
Mm-hmm.
even Keefe D said, man, we grew up as childhood friends and Pop Warner together, me and Suge, and he put us against each other, and his empire is the only one that made it. Like
Yeah.
Keefe saying it, Suge didn't make it. Like everybody looked at the Tupac and Biggie beef. Pac hated Puffy worse, from what I gathered. He just was like, he always said that's my little brother with Big. Like that's my little brother, and I'm mad at him right now, but it is what it is. He seemed to hate Puffy. You know what I'm saying? It was never that with Puff. Like I think he wanted to put hands on him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
as a matter of fact, they said he ran him up underneath a car or something one day or something like that. Like, you never heard that story?
Nah, I never heard that story.
Pac caught him at like an award show or something like that, and chased him outside or something, and Puffy like ran and hid up underneath a bus or something like that. Man, they couldn't get him. But so I think he really wanted to get his hand.
Yeah.
It's all these people that's connected. I sent you the video of the dude with the deposition from like they were interrogation like back in 2018. Some random guy that shot up a hotel on behalf of Donald Trump or something like that. And the guy
I didn't get to finish that video.
He seems kooky and crazy, but he's saying everything that came out to be true that we found out in 2023 through the Cassie lawsuit. He said I was a sex worker for Puffy, and I would have to sleep with Cassie while he sits in the corner and beat his meat in the corner. You know what I'm saying? To us. And he was like that Puffy would do all this cocaine and stuff in the corner. He said, and I would overhear certain business meetings that he would have because he would have his phone connected out to the speakers and stuff where he could hear it. And he was saying that how Puffy is pretty much his lawyers get him a lot of good deals. He got the same lawyers that were with Michael Jackson. He was like Michael Jackson was definitely overdosed on purpose. It was nothing by accident. He was saying that that basically after the situation happened where he had messed around with Puffy and all that, he said that Puffy's gay. He said Rick Ross and DJ Khaled gay. They all had these wild boat nights and stuff where they get drunk and sleep with people and stuff. And he said that Puffy was afraid that he was going to come out against him and tell everything. So he said he paid him off like 50 grand is quiet money. But then Puffy ended up, after he paid him off, he went and tried to get him in trouble with the law by saying that he was an extortionist. He said, and then Puffy still was worried that he was going to tell people. So he sent people to his house and stuff like that to threaten him. He had, because he lives in Miami. He said he sent Rick Ross and some of his people, some of the goons to the house to threaten him because he was worried it was going to get out. And it seems that's a theme for what everybody's saying with Puff. He's worried that who he is behind closed doors is going to get out. Yeah. So a lot of elimination comes from that fear, is what it seems.
Yeah. And that's what I feel like it's like that driving factor too, because he worked so hard to have this outward image of this guy, right? Of brother love. I'm spreading love and uplifting this, and I'm doing that, and the guy who came from not necessarily nothing, but I built a brand and I became this guy and this whole Gatsby mindset, and I'm rich and flashy, but I'm still a humble guy, and I'm so nice and this and that, and I think it's a mask, right? And that's what kind of rubs me in a way, and it's like you're seeing through the mask now, and it's like, hold on, because before you're able to just like, all right, well, there's some things you hear or whatever, and you kind of just get past it because of the mask, and then going back and looking to some old interviews, and you can kind of see that body language and
uncomfortable certain times,
talking about certain things and how you're using the death of Biggie to go in this direction and how you speak on them, and it all seems like a cover up. Like for me now, it seems more of a cover up. Like the whole persona of everything you've been doing over the last 30 years just seems like a cover up from this madman that's behind the scenes. But then also throughout the years, you hear these stories and you've seen these things and these incidences of this madman peeking through. The whole run to somebody's office and beating them up, the club situation with J-Lo and Shine, and like you see these peaks of a madman. You see peaks of a madman throughout history. If you look back
and it's beating Drake with a weight.
Mm-hmm.
Doggone. Like you tried to attack Kendrick, hanging Wale over the edge.
But no, you see these episodes of a madman, and it's hard to see it in a moment, like until you get to 30 years later, and you just start adding it all up together, and it's like, yo, my man is crazy. This man is crazy.
Yeah.
Because like you're able to kind of like, just like in a relationship, like you have people who get in an abusive relationship, and my heart goes out to those people who stick with people in abusiveness and abusive relationships, but they try to make it, you know, say make themselves look nice and after the moment, and you kind of forgive and then go and forget. But then once you step back and you look at that relationship that you've been in for 10 years, it's been abusive. You be like, these are
Yeah.
way too many
Hindsight
incidents over
2020.
10 years. Like, yeah, you don't isolate anything, you consolidate it all. And once you
Yeah.
consolidate it all, it just looks wild. It looks
Yeah.
wild. Like, but if you separate things from 2, 3 years, 4 or 5 years between incidences, it doesn't seem that bad in the moment. Like, oh dang, something else happened. But like Draymond, who keeps getting suspended, like you keep seeing somebody do some things, and then you just like look at the culmination of it all. You consolidate it, and it's just
Yeah.
like, man, no regular person is doing these things in a 30-year period. It's just
Yeah.
not happening. Some people have bad days and bad moments, but then when you consolidate it all, and you like, yo, this your stats are looking crazy, homie.
Yeah. You
Like
built the highlight
it's
reel, homie. Like what happened?
yeah, like you're going, you out of control. It's overboard. So that's where I'm at with the whole Puffy thing, man. That's where I'm at with the whole. It's too much. It's too much.
Yeah. That's the point I reached with like for me, I can be dismissive of stuff up to a certain point, and then it reaches a certain point, and you start kind of preparing yourself like, all right, this is a real strong possibility. Like when Bill Cosby, you know, he had a bunch of women come out before I finally accepted, all right, Bill done something wrong somewhere
You
along
done
the
done
line.
something. You done
I don't
something.
know how bad he done it, but he done something wrong at some point. Like,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's where I'm at with Puffy. It's like I don't know how egregious he is, but he's definitely not been a good
Ooh,
guy in his life.
which
He's done some
reminds
stuff
me, I gotta say
wrong at some
something else.
point.
So let
Which
me
leads
bring
me to
this.
the question for you. Do you think it's malicious, or do you think it's something where he's making mistakes and then trying to clean them up? Or do you think he just
A
like is
combination.
so
It's a
dark?
it's a combination. I think in the beginning, it was a few mistakes that were made that now I have to pay a price for, and I have to find a way to cover it up. Then after you make those few mistakes, it becomes a normalization to you. Like you just become desensitized
I'm comfortable with it, yeah.
and normalize it that this is my lifestyle. And then once you've done so many bad things, it's like, all right, what's one more bad thing? What's another bad thing? What's okay? Now this one's not as bad as that one. I've done way worse. So even though this is still bad in most public people's, in most eyes of the public, to you, because you're desensitized and you've done way worse, that you just now start developing a habit of doing things that to you don't seem as bad because you've done way worse, but in the public eye, yo, this you out of control. And I think that's the
Hey,
kind of guy Puppy's become.